black. Well, sister, how are you black? You see the brother's pants?
Right.
Doesn't he have on black pants?
Right.
Look at your skin, sister.
I'm like caramel,
Well, sister,
toffee
right.
type of complexion.
Those are colors, though, sister.
Right.
You're not a color. Right? Our people are the only people who've been taught that they're a color in the color.
That's right.
In the crayon box, right? Right. So would you be a so-called African American, sister?
So-called.
So-called, right? Come here. Come look at this poster, sister. We ain't gonna bite. You see this right here? Move the speaker out. Right? You see these two men right here?
Right.
This is where that name derives from. Right? You got the Roman general Leo Scipius Africanus who conquered Hannibal in the Punic Wars. That's where you get the term African from. Because this man's name was Africanus, right? The continent was named after him. And you got this man, nasty, dirty Amerigo Vespucci, right? And this man, well, he was an Italian cartographer, right? And that's where you get the term American from. So why would you call yourself African American if you don't come from two so-called white men? So what we're out here telling our people is who they are, thus saith the Lord, right? According to the Bible. Because don't you know the Lord created 18 different nations of people, and those people are still on the earth today. So you got to open up the book and figure out what people you are. What you got out? Bring it out, okay? Listen to this, sister. Let me do that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3.
Right.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
Okay. So the ox and the ass or donkey are two dumb animals. The Lord said the ox knows his owner and the ass his master's crib. They know where to go to. If the donkey gets lost, he knows his way home. The ox knows who he belongs to, right? Read.
But Israel doeth not know.
Right?
My people doeth not consider.
The Lord said his people don't know who they are. They don't even consider. Right? Why is that? Give me Jeremiah 17. Right? Why don't the Lord's people know who they are in these last days? Right? And hey, it's the word's best kept secret. Who are the Israelites? The so-called lost tribes of Israel. You might have heard that before. But we here today to tell you who they are. Right? Click on the sword, right? Hold that Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4.
Right?
And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage,
Right?
that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
And you see that, sister? The Lord said his people will discontinue from their heritage. No longer would you be called African, Salaki. Would you be called Israelites or God's chosen people, right? But now you're going to be called niggas, coons, right? Afro-Americans, African-Americans, all these bywords, black, right? The Lord said you're going to discontinue from his heritage because we disobey his commandments. And I'm going to show you why. Bring that out.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
Right?
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right. So this is Moses. You familiar with the story of Moses? So this is Moses talking to the Israelites after he went and got them out of the land of Egypt. Right. He said, let my people go. Right. So now they're sojourning in the wilderness. Right. They sojourned in the wilderness for 40 years. So Moses said, if it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Playing upon tables. He said, if you don't observe to do all the laws, statutes, and commandments that I'm giving you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the Father and his Son, right? Then all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you, right? Until they have destroyed you. So we're going to show you some of the curses that will identify the Most High's people today, right? Because remember, we just read that they will lose their heritage in Jeremiah 17 and 4. So this is the Lord showing us who will be in these last days. Give me verse 46.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So these curses will be upon the Israelites for a sign, right? So you kind of look down there, right? You see the Commodore. What do they do there at the Commodore system? The Commodore, right? Read that again. I'm going to bring it out one more time for you, sister, in case you missed it.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So like you're talking about the curses. So these curses will be upon you for a sign. So when you look at the Commodore, what does that let you know? An event about to happen, right? They do movies, they do events, right? When you kind of walk around and you see different signs, right? That P right there lets you know what? There's a parking garage, right? So these are signs to the Israelites, to who they would be in the last days because they discontinued from their heritage, right? You got to remember that. Read.
and upon thy seed forever.
and upon thy seed forever, meaning your children. So the Israelites' children would bear these curses as a sign to who they were forever, right? Until they started keeping the commandments. Give me verse 16,
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 16.
right?
Cursed shalt thou be in this city.
So like, hold that. So cursed shalt thou be in the city. When you look around, sister, what people are cursed in the city, right? Us, right? How are we cursed, sister?
Gentrification.
Right.
Mm.
Hey, we subjected to all manner of wickedness, gentrification, like you said, poverty. We in the slums. They put crack in our neighborhoods. They
Right.
put guns in our neighborhoods. They do redlining, right?
Right.
So we can't even get loans in certain parts of the of the.
HOAs.
Right. You see that? Hey, cursed shalt thou be in the city. Read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Right. And cursed shalt thou be in the field. Sister, weren't we cursed in the field? How were we cursed in the field, sister?
Doing the work for the white man.
That's right, sister. Look at these posters.
That's
Look at our
right.
brothers and sisters, right? Got chains on his neck. They beat his back. He probably, I'm led to believe he didn't even do anything that bad, right? He probably had to get 10 pounds of cotton, and he got 9.8, right? And they beat his back, right?
No.
The Lord said, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field." And today, the modern workforce, right? We're still cursed in the field. Last hire, first fire. You know what I'm saying, right? We got the biggest wage gap out of all the people in the world. We're paid the less. We make up how much of the population, right? And we make up 2.5% of the wealth, right? We're less than nothing. We're cursed in the field to this day, sister. That shows you that these curses are perpetual, right? Give me verse 37.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37.
Get for me,
And thou shalt become an astonishment,
right?
a proverb,
Right?
and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So we will become an astonishment and a proverb. You know what a proverb, sister, is? A proverb is a wise saying, right? You put something, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. That's a proverb. Nigga, 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 why you eat so much chicken? These are proverbs that they put on our people, right? And bywords. Like I asked you what your nationality was, you said black. That's a byword. The Most High God never called anyone black, right? He called us the Israelites, right?
That's right.
But today we call ourselves black, African American, all these other things because we didn't keep the commandments. And he said, among all the nations, whether I shall lead thee. You see this picture right here of the slave trade? We were led to every nation, sister. So today we're known as what? African American, niggas, Jamaican, Haitians, right? Colombian, right? We're known as all these different things. But the only difference is where the boat stopped at. And we took on the name of the oppressors that were in those lands, or that conquered those lands, right? Give me verse 48, King. Now we getting into the meat of it, the good stuff that you're never going to read about or hear about in the so-called Christian church, man. See this place right here? They've been open since 1761, and they've never told our people these things I'm telling you right now. Right? And this is thus saith the Lord. We're reading out the Bible, right? Bring that up.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Look at the bells. They kind of got these wicked bells going on, right? Can you tell me what they got going on? Huh? Yeah. Got you. You need one? Hand warmer? Alright, King. I know it's cold. Alright. Yeah, bring that out, King.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
Right?
which the Lord shall send against thee,
So the Lord said we would serve our enemies, which he sent against thee, read,
in hunger,
and hunger. So sister, when you hungry, what you like to eat? Everything, right? Well, where you get those apples from, sister? Wawa. So who owns Wawa? A white man, right? So the Lord said we have to serve our enemies in hunger. So whether you want Wawa, KFC, Papa John's, Long John Silver's, if you want to go to the damn market, right? Walmart, Food Lion, Farm Fresh, your oppressors or your enemies, as the Lord calls them, owns all these things, right? Read on.
and in thirst,
Right. So we have to serve our enemies also in thirst. So when you thirsty, it's the same thing. Powerade, Gatorade, right? Water. And water falls freely from the sky. But our enemies put it in bottles and told you got to pay $3 for it, right? $10 for a gallon of water. And your baby need milk. You know what I'm saying? And we got to pay for these things, right? Read up.
and in nakedness.
And then nakedness. What does that mean? In nakedness. So now when you want clothes, so you're not naked, walking around here butt naked, you got to go to your enemies. You got to go to them to buy clothes, right? They own all the so-called cotton, the textile mills. We picked all the cotton, and we don't own no cotton plants, right? We invented the cotton gin, right? We did all these things and we didn't reap any reward. So we're cursed. We have to serve our enemies. Read it from the top.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness
And then next is read.
and in want of all things.
And then one of all things. So whatever you want, sister. Birth certificate, an ID card, a driver's license, a death certificate, right? You want a damn education, whatever you want, a cell phone. You got to go to your enemies. You want a house to live in. You got to go to your enemies to get these things. They own it all. These are curses. It's not normal for people to live how we live, sister. Right? Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And he shall what?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So while you're serving your enemies, he's going to put a yoke of iron upon your neck.
That's right.
You see that, sister? Right? Hey, and only one people can identify with these curses.
That's right.
There's only one group of people who serve their enemies in every aspect of life, right? Food, hunger, thirst, nakedness, anything they want. And they also had yokes of iron upon their neck. A Chinese man can't come up here and listen to this and say, oh, that's my people, right? An Arab man can't come up here and say, oh, that's my people.
You
The
know?
East Indian man, the damn dot head, they wear them little red, they can't come up here and say, oh, that's my people. The so-called white man can't say, oh, that's my people. This only pertains to one people, right? And this is Bible prophecy that this would happen if we didn't keep the commandments, right? So give me verse 68, whoever got it. Bring that out mighty for the sister.
Verse
Chapter
68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with
Exodus
ships.
22. So the Lord said he would bring us into Egypt again. So do you know what the children of Israel were doing in Egypt? They were slaves. They were slaves in Egypt. So when the Lord said he's going to bring you into Egypt again, what are they thinking? Nah, when he said, the Lord says he's going to bring you into Egypt again. You just left Egypt and you was getting your back beat in, right? Right, so the Lord said, I'm going to bring you into Egypt again, right? You're automatically thinking, damn, we going back into slavery, into bondage. Bring that out. And I'm going to show you that in the Bible. Watch this.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2.
Right?
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is synonymous for house of bondage to the Israelites, right? Slavery, hard work, brick and mortar, right? These is what the Israelites equated Egypt to, right? So read it from the top.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
Into slavery again.
with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With ships. So he said the Lord's going to bring you into Egypt again with ships. So what people went into slavery with ships? We did. They
That's
put it in
right.
our textbooks. They make movies about it to mock us, right? And they still haven't given us our 40 acres and a mule. They don't give a damn about it, right? But we know that we're the people that went into slavery on ships, right? Finish that off, King.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right? You won't see your homeland again. Read,
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
right?